Welcome back to the Heroic Throne of Tides. This is part 2 right here, and we're carrying on where we left off, which is in this corridor where you get thrown around and killed horribly. It's an unpleasant set of pulls, there is no doubt about that one. You're fighting these nasty great giants, and you're also dealing with the giblins, the evil, nasty, horrible sea giblins, as opposed to land giblins. Giblins are different to goblins, trust me, they are. You'll know when you meet them. But we've pretty much got it down, or so we think, because we're entering the Pull of Doom. You thought that was the Pull of Doom? No, absolutely not. We have not one but 2 Pulls of Doom coming up right here. So this one was an absolute nightmare in normal mode and actually wiped us as well. It wipes you in heroic too, if you're not careful. So we tried just for a straight pull on this, and I thought, right, I'm going to dump down a Ring of Frost, see if we can keep some of them locked in, and we'll see what happens. This is what happens. Mass freaking DPS coming on the tank. Huge amounts of damage. The tank is dead. Splat. GG. Done. Yeah. Right. The only way to really do this at this point in time is to line of sight these bastards. So you've got some nice corners here. You've got some nice pillars you can use. So we should be able to use that. So let's give it another bash. Tricky little buggers. Right, we're going to hide around that pillar. We're going to try and do a pull around there so we can line of sight them. So we're not eating massive amounts of damage initially. What I can also do is deploy the Ring of Frost right there, because they seem to pull in 2 phases. So I can lock down the second phase, freeze them in there, and then we can reduce the amount of damage that's coming in. You're still eating this massive tidal waves. Now, they can be interrupted. The problem is there are so many targets that interrupting them is unreliable at best. So, again, it's best just to try and absorb the initial impact by using the pillar on the pull, then get them nice and locked down, spread yourselves out so you're not eating those big nasty tidal waves, and then DPS with the area of effect spells. Best way to deal with it. We're not done on the nightmare pulls, folks, because now we've got not 1 but 2 of those bloody giant things. Problem with this is you can potentially get both abilities chained one after another, which results in pain, as you might imagine. Your healer needs to stay very, very awake on this one, as do you, in fact. If you have any kind of defensive cooldown, anything that can absorb a little bit of damage, it will be helpful here. Splitting them up doesn't really make a huge amount of difference, and that would require 2 tanks anyway, so yeah. You could, I suppose, kite one of them, but I imagine if the person who's kiting gets knocked up into the air, the whole kiting thing ends and you die, so hey. Just stack him up, deal with the damage as it comes in, use your cooldowns if necessary, but bear in mind this is the last pull before the 3rd boss, so you don't want to sink anything that's got too long a cooldown on it. Just do as much damage as you can, nuke really, really hard, and hope for the best. It's really as simple as that. There doesn't appear to be any other trick to it. Just bring him down. There's one down right there. Okay, and we've done a reasonable amount of damage thanks to a little bit of area of effect. And, of course, Living Bomb. Always nice to do that. Worth dropping a Blast Wave on there simply because you've got 2 targets. That means it triggers your talent, so you get your free Flame Strike, and it's definitely worth it. There we go. Much better, much better. Like I said, the healer's been drained of mana. Have a look at that. You can see it completely gone. Healer really has to work hard on that one. Now, the 3rd boss. This one was really interesting in normal mode, but doesn't seem to have an awful lot added in heroic. However, it is cool nonetheless. A really, really fun boss, this one. Mind control mechanics were not something that were considered to be particularly popular in Wrath. In fact, I can only remember a very small number of them. Yeah. In this case, they've put it in a 5-man boss. When was the last one? Well, the one that I remember most clearly was Blackheart the Inciter, which is a boss I never expect to ever see repeated again, because it's just too frickin' random. But it was awesome. Blackheart the Inciter, for those of you who don't know, was in the Shadow Labyrinth, and what he could do is he could mind control, like, your entire group and cause all manner of havoc. It was great fun. In this case, he's not going to do that until phase 2, and even then he's only going to mind control 1 person. Abilities you have to worry about: Lava Bolt does a lot of damage. You might want to interrupt that. You can do it. You can see there, it's got a knockback and a huge amount. It took over 3/4 of the health there from the Druid. Potentially a kill combo, especially if he ends up using his flame-throwing ability on the group, which he won't do unless your tank is dumb and faces him towards it. We're going to phase 2 right here, and we are dealing with the mind control squid. This is mind control the Druid, who's going to bear form. Beat on the Druid for a while to break that, and I don't really necessarily call this phase 3, but this is the only mind control we actually see. Maybe he does it again, but I don't know. So you've got a couple of things you can do here. He's got this Chain Mind Flay, which you can line of sight. It doesn't do a huge amount of damage, but if you're having problems with the damage, then I would recommend you just block it with the pillar right there. He'll also create a bunch of poison on the ground. You don't want to be standing in that at all. Theoretically, I think if you leave it going for too long, perhaps you can mind control somebody else, but that really is about it for him. Like I say, not too hard, but really interesting. I do wish they'd make that fight a little bit longer. Like I say, the squid phase is more fun than the other phase. One thing you do also have to watch out for, which you might notice they didn't quite explain it, was there's a little rock thing on the floor, this sort of earth burst, little spikes, or ground spikes that'll come out. So, yeah, be careful about that. Right, we are heading in to the fourth boss, which we have not seen in a complete form before, because Neptulon was broken when I first did the Throne of Ties video. This area right here, please do not treat it as a gauntlet, even though it looks like one. You get these little spawns all the way through, but you don't want to pull everything, as we rapidly discovered right here. So what you got to watch out for, these tiny little elementals will spawn all the time, but they don't do a lot of damage. However, what will happen is you've got these larger elementals that are going to do something that does a massive amount of AoE damage. It can be spell stolen, and there you go. See, that's it right there. I'm going to spell steal it. The problem is it pulls aggro on almost everything. So you can see I'm getting beaten on right here. I'm not going to survive. I don't have Ice Block available, so that's it. Yeah. Don't pull them like that. Don't. Just don't. So we're going to pull them in a different way right here. Like I say, it's nice and simple. Just bring them down, and if you're a mage and you're confident your tank can hold aggro, then by all means use that. The nice thing about stealing that buff with the AoE is that it will actually kill the smaller elementals outright within a very large blast radius. Do watch out for little things on the ground, by the way. If you kill the larger ones, they will leave rubbish on the ground. You don't want to be standing in them, and I believe if you stand next to the little ones when you kill them, you also get a stacking poison debuff. Not too pleasant. Let's bring this down. We're going to get onto Neptulon, which is a wave-based boss. Before we do that, just a brief note, since the Cataclysm beta has ended, what's going to be going on over the next couple of weeks? Well, I'm going to be sorting out the show that I said I was going to be doing when Cataclysm beta launched, which is Azeroth Daily. It's going to be a 6 days a week show, which is going to round up all of the news, all of the current stuff that's going to be happening within World of Warcraft. So the kind of things that you'll see on MMO Champion, WoW Insider, and all the fan sites, including the official page, it's all going to be brought into one place. I'm going to show you everything I possibly can. I'm going to tell you about it. It's going to be nice and convenient for everyone. It's also going to have various features like Mods of the Week. It's going to have a mailbag at the end of every show. It's going to have updates on the Trollface Guild. It's going to have showing off new stuff. It's also going to have best quest of the day and stuff like that. It should be a nice, fairly short, about 10 to 15 minute show every day that people can watch just to keep up to date on what's going on in WoW, and it's going to be your one-stop shop. So I'm going to be trialing that over the next couple of weeks just to sort of get that in order and get the format sorted out. Also going to be doing some playthroughs of stuff that's on the current live server. Neptulon time, ladies and gentlemen. So it's a wave-based encounter. The first phase of waves is not all that difficult. So you've got these Murlocs coming in right here, lock them down, and you just DPS them. And you've got these larger ones. Just interrupt the abilities they've got. They've just got shadow damage. You don't need to worry too much about that. You've got the bigger giants right there. They just smack the tank about a bit, and they've got this weird thing, this sort of big shadow crash sort of thing, where they'll levitate into the air, then bring themselves down. Now, once you've brought down these waves, what's going to happen is it's going to go into phase 2, and Neptulon is going to be enslaved by these 3 mobs that have quite a lot of health, and you've got a DPS down. However, in the meantime, there's going to be a lot of AoE shadow damage on the floor, because Giant Octopus Dude is coming back. Yes, indeed, he is. There you go. There's phase 2 for you. So you need to bring down these channelers right here to release Neptulon, and then you can go into phase 3, which is the really cool bit. Watch out for the ink that goes on the floor. That does a stacking damage debuff. If you take too much of it, you are most assuredly dead. And the worst thing are these big Shadow Fiends. These Shadow Fiends will spawn every now and again. They have to be kited. Tanking them is not a particularly good idea, so like I say, just try and kite them around as much as possible. The more you get, the more difficult this becomes, so this is a bit of a DPS race. Once you get too many Shadow Fiends on and you get locked down, the chances are you will wipe, and we do indeed wipe the first attempt right here. So taking down one of these channelers, but our DPS isn't really good enough. Our Rep Paladin got killed by those stacking ink blotches, and there we go, we're toast. We've got too many Shadow Fiends, we've got too much stuff on the ground, and we are absolutely 110% dead. So yeah. Why we're helping Neptulon here, I can't be 100% certain. All I know is the big squid thing is evil and is trying to pollute the waters. Neptulon obviously is one of the elemental lords. So is Ragnaros, and he's not particularly friendly, but then Therazane is fairly friendly, so there seems to be a split of opinion as to what to do with the mortals. In this case, Neptulon is tolerating our presence, and we're going to help him out. Right, we're going to do this properly this time. There's not an awful lot to say about controlling waves. You should know this already. I mean, if you've ever done something like the Black Morass, if you've ever done Mount Hyjal, then you should be well aware of what controlling waves actually involves. Just make sure that you use crowd control on as much as possible. The larger mobs you can't. I would use stuff like Ring of Frost on the smaller mobs, Frost Nova, Air Effect. You see right here, it's very easy to pull aggro on these little Murlocs, so I'm going to try and bring them down. They do have about 20,000 health, so just one Flame Strike won't be enough, but I've popped a Blizzard down there and I used a Frost Nova to try and get them away and manage to bring them down. Ideally, you'll have more people doing AoE than just one, but in this case, we've got our other guys beating on the mob over there. So, okay, so we'll bring that down right here. There we go. Murloc's dealt with. Good stuff. There's Squiddy Boy. He's back. He's going to predict some World Cup results. In the meantime, we need to bring down these channelers, and we're going to do it right this time. Or at least I think we are. We seem to be a little bit confused as to which one we're going to DPS. There we go, there's the mark. Okay, so bring that down. What I would do is I would save your time warp for this phase right here. This is the DPS race. You've got to bring it down really hard right here. On the first one, I just popped the time warp straight away. That was stupid. There was no point. So in phase 2, pop your time warp, pop your bloodlust, save your cooldowns for this, because your long cooldowns, anything that's 2 minutes or higher, you're probably going to want to save, because the first phase lasts for about 2 minutes as far as I can tell. Now, get your tank to do a little bit of kiting around there. Of course, dodge the ink pools. The speed at which the shadow damage stacks off those ink pools is extremely surprising, by the way. I would strongly recommend that this is something we did not have. I do not believe, anyway, buffed at this point in time, was the Prayer of Shadow Resistance, and whatever the hell it's now called. Any buff that does any shadow resistance. Sadly, as you can see, Ring of Frost does not work at all on those Shadow Fiends, so it's just a case of moving as quickly as possible, taking as little damage from them as possible. And obviously this is a bit of an endurance phase for the healer, so try not to stand in that. There you go, you see I've got 10 stacks of it. It's not doing a massive amount of damage there, but it stacks up so fast that it will overwhelm you very quickly. Okay, here we go. So now things are going to start to get fun. Seriously, this is one of the best ending phases of any 5-man I've ever seen. Tanks desperately carrying everything in the world ever. Suddenly we are giants. Oh yes, look at that tree. Just look at that tree. So we do massive damage right here. You wondered how we kill a 24 million HP squid? This is how you kill it. With giant troll and giant tree. Just look at that. That's fantastic. We're bigger than Neptulon, for God's sake. Oh yes, ass kicking is going on. This is still a little bit of a race because you can see, look at the amount of stacks we're taking right here. The entire place is covered in ink and we're taking massive amounts of shadow damage. But thankfully, our healer was able to do all sorts of things. And then, yeah, Neptulon gets sucked into the squid and off he goes. And we're left with that. Very odd, isn't it? Damn cool, though. I love this instance. It's absolutely goddamn wonderful. Oh, man. Best 5-man they've ever made is... yeah, probably. Trying to think of anything that's better. Can't. Yeah, Throne of Tides is badass. Like I say, it does have some issues with it. Particularly the second boss is not quite as cool as it should be. But it's still very, very nice. It still blows away anything Wrath ever had. Right, well... I did do a video explanation as to what I was going to be doing after Cataclysm, but I just want to reiterate it, just because some people might not have seen it. Go and look for a video on my channel called Future Plans, by the way, and you'll see everything that I'm planning. I've actually done a few changes, but I'll do a quick reminder while I'm here. Might as well just to cap off the video. So, I'm going to be doing a lot of stuff. An awful lot of stuff. WoW content's going to continue. Like I say, there are various channels on YouTube that do regular WoW content and have done it for years and are very popular, and obviously people like watching WoW content. I find that, say, for instance, I play quite a lot of Black Ops in my off time, and as well as League of Legends and a couple of other games, and I like to watch people play it. You know, I'll watch Black Ops footage, heck, I even watch Modern Warfare 2 footage, even though I don't actually play the game, just because it's pretty entertaining to watch. So, I'm going to keep doing the WoW stuff, and I'm going to be doing it for the foreseeable future, and I've got a few plans. So the first thing to do is something called Azeroth Daily, which I explained before is this daily news show, so I don't need to repeat that. But that's going to be on 6 days a week, and I'm hoping that'll become part of some people's regular routine just to watch that. And hopefully it'll be useful to people and very helpful, because I know it can take a bit of time to keep up to date on the happenings of WoW. What else is going to be happening? Well, we're going to be doing 3 kinds of raiding videos. Yes, indeed, 3 kinds. So the first is Wipeathon 3000, because I think that's a really good way to teach people how to actually do raid encounters. Personally, I know I do not learn anything from watching a perfect kill. I don't. Learning is weird because, obviously, there are different learning types. There are different types of thinking, and some people learn better by watching a perfect kill. Some people learn better by watching failures. I mean, personally, I learn better by just going headlong into the fight and experiencing the various mechanics for myself. I like to go in blind, but I think that Wipeathon 3000 is a good way to teach people to raid, and that's going to be all of the encounters in the game. Both the current stuff, the stuff that I didn't get done in beta. I'll be revisiting the stuff that got buffed, because basically everything did. All of the heroic stuff that I go through with my Trollface raiding groups as well. So, yeah, a lot of guides in the form of Wipeathons. There are also going to be kill videos. These kill videos are going to exist in a couple of different ways. There's going to be a straight guide kill, you know, so I'll just put that up there because some people learn better that way. So here's the kill, here's the explanation, there you go. There's also going to be Rage Leader, which is going to be sort of like a comedy skit. It's going to be not for the purposes of learning anything, it's just going to be for laughs, really. It's going to be a raid encounter, and I'm going to be taking on the role of this really angry raid leader. Hopefully have some jokes and some laughs in there. We'll see how it goes. It's a weird concept. It might work, it might not. And I've also got something in mind that I was actually inspired by comments left on my Gammon video, where people said they really enjoyed the way that the commentary was done on the actual Gammon kill. And as ridiculous as it sounds, because people enjoyed that, I think that there's a place for a series that I'm going to call PvE Sports, which is boss kills done in that ridiculous horse racing style commentary. If people like it, if people enjoy it, which they evidently do because they said so, then they can have it. So there's going to be that. Hi YouTube and With Kittens will be back. I'm going to be starting leveling them when the Shattering patch hits, which is going to be Wednesday for the EU, I believe, and Tuesday for Europe. We're going to be doing that, and I'm going to start off with a different character, because obviously I can't start with Worgen and Goblin. I just race change them after that. I'm going to attempt to play the entire game. Why? Because people seem to like it. I know a lot of people that don't roll alts. I mean, I'm one of them, but would actually like to see the content, see if there's anything cool, and are enjoying the presentations. Now, there would be suspicion, of course, from some people, and indeed myself. You know, this has been foremost in my mind. Will people even watch it because it's, you know, they've got access to it? It's not beta content. But having seen that people will happily watch stuff like the Cataclysm pre-quests when they can more than easily do it for themselves, people just like watching other people play games they enjoy. It's as simple as that. There's nothing more complicated than that. So I'll keep doing it. So I'm looking to play the entire game. I said I wouldn't let's play World of Warcraft, but you know what? It's the end of the beta. There were so many requests. I'm going to actually turn it around. I'm going to say, yeah, I'm going to accept that request. I will let's play World of Warcraft, ladies and gentlemen, the whole lot. What I'll also be doing is I'll be doing playthroughs of all of the new areas, and it's going to all be sort of filmed. It's all going to be bundled in as one. I'm going to be filming everything I do in WoW. I'm getting a new machine very, very soon. I've actually got most of the parts on order right now. So everything I'm ever going to do in WoW is going to be frapsed. So the footage is going to be used for stuff like Quest of the Day and things like that, and the hints and tips sections of Azeroth Daily. But it's also going to be used to show you all of the content, and I'll do the same kind of commentary that I've been doing throughout the beta. People seem to enjoy it, people want to watch it, so that's what I'm going to give it to you on a very regular basis. So you'll have content on this channel all the time to watch. What else? Guides. Special guest guides will continue as Cataclysm launches. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of changes going through. We're going to keep the guides going. I'm going to be inviting various people on to do those guides with me, and we will see what happens. Aside from that, for WoW, I think that about covers it for the moment. There's also going to be the StarCraft 2 stuff, Shoutcraft, I suck at StarCraft 2, and WTF is, of course, which people seem to really like, as well as the interviews with various game developers, companies, and stuff like that. So, yeah, it's going to be really busy. This is sort of phase 2 of this channel. This is what it's all been building up to. I'm really looking forward to starting this off. It's going to be absolutely awesome. I'm going to enjoy doing it. I hope you guys will stick around, and I hope you'll enjoy watching it as well. I'd like to just put out a thank you to all of you. A lot of the time I do sound like I'm just bitching at people and I'm very unpleasant. Some people get the idea that I hate my fanbase. It's absolute bullshit. It really is. I don't hate my fanbase at all. I absolutely adore my fanbase. The point is that I'm really protective of my fanbase, and I'm really protective of the comment section, even though I shouldn't be. I mean, it's freaking YouTube. Of course, dumb comments are going to be left, but it comes down to the fact that I would like my guys to be able to discuss things without flaming or without the garbage that they have to endure on the WoW official forums and other places on the internet, or even in the game. So when I see someone trolling, or when I see someone flaming somebody else or leaving something dumb, I'll come down on them hard and I'll just say, look, this kind of behavior is not acceptable on my channel. That does not mean I hate my fans. That's absolutely ridiculous. I adore my fans, and my fans are really the only reason that I kept going through this and I kept things at a very high quality. People like to say that, hey, sell out, you're just doing videos to make money. Yeah, this is my job. This has been my job for the past few months, and I'm looking forward to it continuing to be my job for the foreseeable future. But at the end of the day, if I wanted to make money, I'd take videos like this, I'll split them to 5-minute chunks, add ads to everything, and stuff like that, have sponsorships and selling stuff on my videos, and I wouldn't take the time to edit, and I wouldn't take the time to do that kind of thing. I want you guys to enjoy good quality content. I think you deserve that, and that's what I'm going to try and continue to do. And any feedback and any constructive criticism, I do listen to it, and you've seen that there's been an awful lot of changes on this channel over the past few months to my videos, even to my play style, from when people have said things, even if they've flamed me. I mean, hell, you probably noticed in that video, my back pedal key no longer bound. Simple as that. Hey, you know what? It doesn't matter. Someone flamed me and said, oh, you're a noob. But the point is that what they said was valid, even if they bundled it in with an insult or whatever. So, hey, there you go. I do listen, and I do love each and every one of you, so thank you from the very bottom of my heart for everything you've done. For all of the promotion you provided, whether you've been a lover or a hater, promotion is promotion. Just talking about the channel is enough to bring people into it. So you guys have all been awesome, and I'm really looking forward to hopefully serving you up with some great WoW content, as well as StarCraft 2 and gaming going forward. My name's been TotalBiscuit. That has been Heroic Throne of Tides, and me blithering on for about 10 minutes for no reason in particular. I will see you next time.